Hi guys, this is Emnel, and today we are going to stray from our traditional strategy focus of the channel and play some Tyranny. Tyranny is an RPG by Obsidian, creators of Pillars of Eternity, and a game similar to it, or things such as Baldur's Gate and other CRPGs, isometric CRPGs. This is, however, a game with a spin, because you are not going to play as a hero or even a Machiavellian mercenary. You are going to play as a servant of an evil overlord who just conquered the world, and you will be putting down rebellions for him, doing evil deeds, actually. The game doesn't pull many punches. You will see soon enough, though. I however mentioned that we are going to stray just a little bit, because games like that are actually pretty damn strategic. There is an undergoing set of rules and mechanics that pretty decent difficulty curve, and we are going to try to approach it the same way we approach strategy games and get to the bottom of it. Try to think of optimal strategies, of course taking into account what we want to do plot-wise, but you know, we will try to min-max pretty damn hard. So if you are looking for this kind of playthrough, well, sit back and enjoy. We're going to play on Path of the Damned difficulty, the highest one. I'm actually pretty familiar with the... I mean, this game isn't Pillars of Eternity. It's not even the same world. Core mechanics are similar, but at the same time very different. So it's not one-to-one. I have played 3 or so hours to get accustomed with it, and I'd say that going for Path of the Damned is going to be optimal. I'm not going to go for Iron Man, or Trial of Iron as it is called here, nor for an expert mode, because that basically removes some helper functions such as range of spells being shown and such. Basically, this removes things that you may, as you can see, helper features, but to be able to deal without those helper features, you kind of need to play first with them to know, for example, what's the range of the spells and so on. So we are going to leave that off. Let's go!
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and 2 of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the 2 generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You are among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders, when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Alright, before we continue the prologue, we need to create a character. We're going to play as a male, medium-sized. We're going to go with a dark-skinned guy because I actually like we are going to play as a mage, by the way. And out of all the portraits that suit mages, I like this guy the most. I think this is this skin color, sort of. I think, or the darker one, perhaps. No, I think this one is optimal. Here we go. We are going to choose. Alright, we'll go with the mustache too. As far as our hair. Whatever, let's go with this one. Face. Honestly, I don't see much of a difference. Perhaps this one with less freaky eyes. Hair color, we'll leave it black. And we can actually, which is quite interesting, get tattoos. Pretty nice selection around here. Let's see what we want. Perhaps not anything. Okay, we are mages, so how about this one? I think I like the other one actually. Yeah. We'll choose that. Now we can. How did you join Kairos' army? Well, we are a Fatebinder, which is like an emissary, as you had, an executioner and a judge. So, despite us being a mage, I think this is war mage is something between a warrior and a caster, from what I gathered. So we are going to go with diplomat actually, which probably will suit our character more. Well, mechanically, this well, I'll discuss later what those mean within the mechanic of the game. Now, we get to choose primary and the secondary expertise. We are going to go with a mage, so we will pick two magic disciplines. I would go for shock and frost over vigor and atrophy, because what I want to do is create a damage-dealing mage that would cast powerful damaging spells and such, rather than debuffs or buffs that are more common to vigor, for example, or atrophy. But we are actually going to get... the game is made in such a way that think, for example, Morrowind, or where you don't have actual classes, but you level your skills by using them, and we'll be able to unlock lightning magic very, very fast in the first 20 minutes of the game. So we are going to get frost and vigor later, after an hour of the game or so. So we are going to get frost and atrophy because those two I wasn't able to locate within the game within the first 3-4 hours. So that would give us a full set of those 4 basics, because there are, I think, at least around 10 magic disciplines. Magic is actually very interesting in this game. So we are going to pick Frost as our primary, and Atrophy as our secondary, since Frost is the one we are after. And that will give us 2 spells, ability to craft more ice and atrophy spells later, as well as increase certain abilities. Control Frost, Control Atrophy, +8 here because that was our primary, +2 secondary, and above all, +10 lower. And some additional less important stuff. Alright, actually that's, if we were to, for example, pick something else, such as javelins, which is also a pretty decent choice, for example, magic and ranged weapon, if you were to, for example, get vigor or atrophy and focus on buffs or debuffs, picking javelins, for example, would be probably even a better choice, and that would affect our starting gear. And the way we do things, will start with 2 different staffs, which is kind of redundant. Here would get a spear and shield, 2-handed weapon, short bow. You get the or we can even get start as an unarmed focus, and well, then choose various things. Look at that. Actually, we can go. I had no idea. We could focus more heavily on the Frost and get one of the later talents. Okay, that's actually quite, because this way would save 1 point. I'd rather take energy shield, and that would make us a bit safer. Would have to sacrifice the atrophy for a while, but I mean, those aren't very useful spells to begin with. So okay, we are actually going to take to focus more on energy shield. Problem is that this stuff is weaker than the atrophy one, but well, here we are. We'll take that. Actually, let me check. Yes, we get +10 lore, more focus, dodge, magic stuff. Yes, everything we wanted basically. Instead of +2 atrophy, we got another +2 for Frost. Those are less important anyway. Now we can choose a banner. I want it to look like that, like that, like that. Since we are mage, something magical, this thing will do. We'll be able to control some kind of a fortress later on, I believe. Emnel. Now, attributes. We start with everything as 10. We can lower it by up to 2. No min-maxing to like 3 or 2 some, and as you can see, we can choose only humans. There are only humans in the game. This is, as I mentioned, a different world than the one in Pillars of Eternity. I already thought about it, and I will lower the might. That will make our manual attacks, or our auto attacks basically, less powerful, and our abilities, but will be, as I mentioned, focusing on actual spells. You can make a mage that will be actually focusing on that would focus on might and dealing damage with his staff and various abilities, but that's not what we are going for. But there are some things that would make it work. We are not going to sacrifice vitality, because from what I've seen, enemy is very, very keen on focus firing your squishes, and losing your main character in a battle is usually game over, because well, you're losing most of your potential this way. We are going to invest a little bit in wits, a little more in resolve. Resolve is, well, it increases the time, increases how long afflictions, or things like cursed, frozen, and such that we apply last. We will invest in that later. Basically, you get 1 point every level you get to increase it by 1, so it's not the end of the world. We will put 2 points in finesse, because accuracy actually affects, this accuracy bonus affects everything. Our stab attacks and our spells. And I think, like, having this +6, especially on Path of the Damned, where enemies have crazy defensive stats, should be decent. We also want quickness for spell cooldown, and I think we'll start with something like that. We'll then focus on increasing wits and quickness, and in the end resolve. Next, yeah. So, lore, subterfuge, and athletics are actually very important, because they are used in dialogues for unlocking some interesting options, and they actually and using those options actually gives you EXP, increasing those stats later on. For that reason, we are going to actually invest in athletics to 32, because this is what you need to kickstart it. Subterfuge we will leave at 30, and for us as mages, most important stuff, most important ability is law. We have 10 points, so I'm kind of tempted to get a few more into dodge, to get, or actually perhaps get it all into dodge. I think we'll be using lore anyway, quite a lot of it, and as I mentioned, this is, I will get into that, basically going into dodge and into lore is, both will be good. And I think that, okay, let's get at least a few points in lore, so we can get to 50 and then 60 later. Basically, when you use those things, they will rise. So those are just points to kickstart you, and that's why I invested in not very mage-like athletics, and the rest I'm less interested in. Control Frost is alright, but it will rise pretty fast as well. Now, we are, 18 minutes. Well, this is going to be a longer episode, but here is, as I mentioned, we are starting the game after the evil overlord conquered the world. So what we are going to play in a prologue is, before the actual game, is the last conquest of the land we'll be playing in. You can quick start it, or the way we will do it is do it manually. Okay, I'm not going to describe it, just watch.
All the world has fallen to Kairos. And now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior.
Yeah, it's over.
In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the tiers sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors. Until it's too late.
Okay. During the conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tiers. Tiers is basically this peninsula, this land, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tiers respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. Bastard City. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tiers. Built upon the natural harbor at the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tiers, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, that is us, it was little more than a backward trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target for Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Taking this city would send a message to the rest of the Tiers. Kairos' will is unsurmountable. Alright, and we get two ways to go about conquering this specific city. We can infiltrate. History would remember the Gates of Judgments as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The Disfavored and Scarlet Horse each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army will you join? Right, so the way I go about it will later during the game affect how those two main factions seem. Here I could lend my skills to the Disfavored Scouts to capture their garrison. Graven Ash, which is that bold dude, the Archon of War and General of Disfavored, insisted that an early victory in the offensive would boost the morale of the troops and diminish the overconfidence of the Southerners. Or he joined Scarlet Horse as they raided villages and small towns, conscripting every able-bodied men and women into the army. The Voices of Nerat, which is an Archon of Secrets and the leader of Scarlet Horse, emphasized that rewards of conscription and enslavement over wanton bloodshed. Apparently his soldiers needed the reminder. So basically, those guys, they go-to strategy to dealing with things is to murder everyone, and those guys is to enslave everyone. But this is like you have one choice here, but you need to also choose between those two approaches first. So, Gates of Judgments. The armies of Kairos took the battle to the Gates of Judgments, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the Tiers. Trumpeting the opening call. The two armies brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. So I can either go with Disfavored or the Chorus. Okay, you know what, let's go with Infiltration for Disfavored this time around. The Oathbound Scout, which is our enemies, identified the modest a modest border defense and collaborated on an organized attack that was us. That would leave the enemy are coordinated and cut from the aid. You oversaw the preparations and offered your options on the strategy. and the clashing of swords and spears fell to silence, followed by the cheering of these various cars. We were the least surprised. Alright, so we basically captured the small fort. Now we can, containing the fire. The fiercest opponents in the bastard city were the mages of the school of the Wild Wrath, too barbaric to use their powers responsibly, and the unbridled practitioners needed to be stopped. How did you trick the hot-tempered mages into their own undoing? Or inside agents? So I could corrupt someone, bitter captain of the guard to sell military secrets to the disfavored, or arrange a well-connected smuggler, sneak agents of crime behind the city, military operatives and soldiers. Yeah, I think we'll play with the mages. Lure the hot mages to an ambush while the legion of disfavored waited to spring the trap. The soldiers were hungry for a chance to subdue the arcane branch of Tyr's resistance. Guild elders into meeting with voices of Narat, Archon of Secrets. The Archon was notorious for his cruel and mysterious interrogation techniques. The mages were never seen again. Sure, let's do that. There were a few who could describe what horrors the Archon of Secret visited upon his enemies during the conquest. Whether the elder mages knew little of the Archon's reputation or met him out of curiosity didn't matter. While the flap of the Archon's tent closed, none of them were heard from again, save from a strangled cry of alarm that ended just as swiftly. Leaderless, the School of Wild Wrath fell into disorder, and the remaining members were slain by the disfavored and conscripted into the Scarlet Chorus. Oh, sweet. Betrayal of the Bastard City. Your tactics of infiltrations place you in the Bastard City ahead of main armies. Your work softened the city defenses for the arrival of Kairos' forces. But you wanted a decisive gesture that would give your allies a meaningful advantage. How did you assist in the fall of the Bastard City? Alright, and here is actually an important choice, because choosing either of those will give us an ability. If we go with the duel, you challenge the commander of the Bastard City defenses to an honorable fight. So this is an ability we can use once per fight that allows us to heal 3 times, or I'm not sure actually if it's every 3 seconds for 12 seconds. Does it mean it's starting at 0, or well, either 3 or 5 or 4 times for 70% of our HP? Well, at the same time for that, that's you just use that and you just cast it and it just runs when you can do other things, but for those 12 seconds you do half the damage. So that's better if you are a buffer, for example. Another option is range cooldown. Okay, so we can basically set people on fire, but since we went with versus magic, oh, interesting. This this is an ability rather than a spell, but where is it? Oh, that's this is actually this gives us access to the lore of fire. Actually, as you can see, this is. I thought it is. I wonder if you get the access to lore of fire later. Actually, didn't notice that. Last time around, I've chosen this one, which is basically gives you defensive stats for 12 seconds while lowering your accuracy a fair bit. Minus 100%. Huh, interesting. You know what, let's go with... Okay, now I can't really... So... Okay, you know what, I think we need the heal, basically. Yeah, I'm afraid we need the heal to do it. And I think we'll get fire magic later on anyway. The city marshal was an old and experienced, yeah. So yeah, we'll just dueled him, and the city fell. Now you can choose to either go to the Apex, the fortress in the mountains, for our next thing, or to the what is it? The Iron Mage deposit of iron made the settlements of Leshian Crossing a strategic war asset. Send the forge-bound smith mages of a specialty to establish a flow of weaponry. Tunon, the adjudicator, send one of his fate binders to ensure the enforcement of Kairos' law. Let's actually conquer a Citadel here. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Veneridin, stood at the heart of Tears. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the disfavored and Scarlet Corps had pushed deep into the Tears. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Curse's law to the territory, as well as keeping an eye on both armies. Yeah, need to babysit them all the time. Okay, so the Sphere sent the most destructive ally to crush them. Cairn, Archon of Stone, buried the stronghold under the avalanche triggered from the surrounding mountains. The Scarlet Horse were promised captured enemies for recruitment if none survived on the onslaught. Okay, so we could. And they wanted compensation. Okay, so we could just murder everyone with a Archon of Stone. School of Water Mages, loyal to the Tearsmen, posed a substantial threat. The disfavored wished to annihilate the school, while the Scarlet Chorus insisted on capturing the mages, wishing to learn their craft. Yeah, sure, we'll try to capture them. Usually you could, the optimal thing to do apparently is to go for either just always side with one, but I don't care. For countless lives were lost, though countless lives were lost taking the mages into custody, the Scarlet Chorus praise your name as they drag the beaten elders of the school to the voices of their stand. As a wave of screams and incoherent pleas reached the crescendo, the Scarlet Chorus soldiers outside cheered for their Archon. The disfavored adjourned to their camp in grim silence, claiming that the chorus lacked the will and the desire to fully wipe all traces of the enemy school. Well, my understanding is that they died. They were just their minds were eaten by the voices of Nerat. Things like that. Now, captive captain. Visiting the well. Captured a celebrated enemy hero. The armies bickered over his fate, and his fate wanted him to set free to convince his peers in Curse's mercy. Wanted him flayed and staked, for an example. Okay. Poisoning the well. Break the siege. Agents poisoned the Apex water supply in secret. Days later, uninformed, his favorite scout died of illness. Outraged by the failure of communication, the disfavored demanded Curse agents Pretend over for them. It's boring. Well, let's try to conquer them peacefully for a change, maybe. Shocked by your clemency, the enemy captain vowed to deliver a message in full and pay his respects before departing for his encampment. Though typically more uncompromising, the disfavored praised your innovative thinking. The Scarlet Chorus despised what they viewed as resources wasted, only to release a known enemy back into the wild. Battle of Apex. With the defeat of Apex inevitability, the armies of Kairos met to discuss how to put an end to the siege, to this stage of the conquest. Both armies agreed to send an offer of parley. Along with their acceptance, the enemy requested that you appear at the meeting. Words of your fair dealings had apparently spread to the ranks. How did you orchestrate the surrenders of... look at that, we can actually take it rather than, nuke it. The days of mediation, negotiated surrender, then to the further bloodshed, and to striking... Okay, so we can betray them. Well, let's see if that will also lead to slaughter. Your former enemies were loth to part with their lands, but they were even more reluctant to continue the war they were losing at every turn. The Tearsmen are a stubborn lot, and despite their grim situation, it still took days of discussion and diplomacy to show them the madness of tenacity. On the third day of mediation, the rulers of Apex finally that should be rulers, I think. Apex finally submit to the terms of surrender, putting the end of the war in the valley. Freeing up Kairos' forces to march deeper into the tiers. Next. Oh, he actually didn't destroy it. I wonder how that will affect, if you will be viewed as by your enemies, because you actually deal with the enemies quite a lot. So absolutely, they will view you as a nice guy. Alright, so this is the last part. The land of the Apex finally rested in the hands of Kairos' forces. The Scarlet Chorus passed to revel in victory, while the disfavored prepared for the next fight. Arms ready to conquer Citadel. Okay, so we can go for Stalwart. It is easily defended position, and rich in military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the tiers. Okay. Fall upon treasures, its knowledge, its secrets. Well, we are mages, so... let's go with Citadel. Secrets and knowledge. Let's see what's there. The Vellum Citadel was an archive and library of massive scale. Its inhabitants were known as the School of Ink and Quill, a circle of mages that centuries ago carved out their own mountainous refuge, I guess, on lands unsettled by other major realms. Legends say that the Citadel housed a treasure trove of arcane knowledge. The Overlord's spies infiltrated the school and confirmed as much. The time was ripe to send a detachment to the Great Library Fortress and force the scholars to yield. Okay. Searing, Archon of Song, used her power to enthrall enemy mages who crept beyond the Citadel walls. After Kairos' forces rounded up the arcane practitioners, the disfavor began executing the new captives before they could share dangerous knowledge. A crime under Kairos law. This kind of course. Okay. Chain of Command. Detachment carries my arch of Citadel, expecting an orderly surrender. As they neared the main gate, a blast of arcane energy struck the commander's head and dead. Suddenly, the highest ranking officer alive, Kyrus forces looked to you for the next steps. The call waits on your mind, as it was an immediate influence of a soldier loss. Okay, so... Alright, so... knowing handball... let's deal with the mages. We'll side with this favorite here. Song of Ensnarement. As the disfavored-fitted sages with their straining mask, the Scarlet Chorus open and criticize the suspicion of enemy intelligence. The suspension of enemy intelligence. You gave the soldiers a stern lesson of Kyros's laws and the sensitive treatment of forbidden knowledge. But that didn't stop the whispering and rumors that Conquest was being mismanaged. By master agents. The group of enemy mages surrendered to the disfavored, claiming to be spies loyal to the voices of Nerat. No one in the army could verify the claim. The disfavored ready to interrogate the mages, but Scarlet Horse protested, demanding that the prisoners be given to their custody. They couldn't risk voices of Nerat's secrets falling into wrong hands. Or right of command. The Archon of Song incited Scarlet Horse recruits to fight the leaders. What? Oh, okay. Bosses were killed, and so Scarlet Horse captured some guys, and then Archon of Song forced them to attack their former leaders. Bosses were killed and supplemented left and right. The disfavored demanded an end to the practice for the good of the conquest. I think we'll we'll return mages to voices of the rat. Scarlet Chorus accepted the mages into their company with gratitude. After secreting them within tents and out of earshot, you presume that a discussion or interrogation followed. When asked about it in the following day, the Scarlet Chorus admitted that they sent the mages to Voices of Nerat with an escort, dispatching them under cover of night, without due authorization. You reprimanded the soldiers for keeping you out of the loop, but there was not else to be done in the matter. Okay. Food and morale dwindled as the siege party realized that the enemy would win this war of attrition. Tunon sent word to the that Kyros's patience had run thin. The Overlord would cut an edict of fire on the enemy. So edicts are interesting things. Those are the most powerful magic. Kyros's most powerful magic is that of an edict, commandments cast upon whole regions that could control and destroy men and nature alike. Once cast, the edict can rain fire, wither crops, demoralize cities, usher endless night, or do whatever it is that Kyros envisions. Pretty powerful, well. No known force, magical or mundane, can stop an edict, though each edict is often worded to include some condition or contingency that will see it end. Some edicts have been short-lived, delivering days of wanted catastrophe, just as many have lingered for centuries. So yeah, okay, so the thing is that one of the reasons this guy conquered the known world is that this basically happens at the end of Bronze Age, and he figure out how to handle iron, but he also can curse whole continents, so has some things going for him. Okay, Townsend World, Edict of Fire. The parchment arrived in a slender case of engraved iron. Written on it the words of spell powerful enough to destroy Vellum Citadel. Well, we kinda wanted the knowledge inside. You had the choice of when to read the edict. Reading it at sunrise would offer your enemies no warning of the devastation to come. You could also wait until sunset, giving them ample time to flee and make amends. Okay, we'll try to not destroy the thing and get the stuff inside. You confronted the mages with warning and hoped that the message was received. An hour before sunset, numerous figures were spotted fleeing the citadel. As the sun dipped under the horizon, we read the words of an edict. The earth shook and red-orange light glowed in the foundation of the sprawling citadel, bubbling out from under the library. A torrent of lava, okay, so we actually are going to destroy it anyway, heaved with explosive force, gushing from windows and between loose bricks, melting winding trenches in the surrounding land. Days later, the flames still raged on, a conflagration continually fed and renewed by the power of the edict. Okay, well, we roasted them, sadly. Kinda wanted that arcane knowledge. Alright, armies of Kairos left the devastation of Citadel in silence. From that day forward, the Tears came to know the once noble Citadel as the Burning Library. This was undisputed loss of resources, knowledge, culture, and life. Yeah, that's what I say. But the message had been sent. The Overlord will not tolerate defiance. Alright. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. You were one of the last to depart from mountains, and as you journeyed off, you spotted a few campfires in the mountains. There were more specks, dwarfed by the Inferno, the last gasp of survivors, or perhaps looters from Kaiser's army, bored and daring enough to peek through the ashes. Alright. This is it basically, as far as Conquest goes. Yes, we are not going to replay it, thank you very much. But as you can see, there are quite a few options, and I played it 2 times earlier to see how it goes with different things.
Is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The 2 armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands.
Alright, yeah. So yeah, there are very different options, even within one region that you're conquering, depending on what you do on the first and second choice, like the one that we were able to take peacefully.
But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault.
Nice shot.
With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, You carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Alright. I think we are going to make a break here, so I can, because we'll be naming episodes, so this one will be creation, character creation and such. So, well, I hope you guys are enjoying. Forgive me for, less than ideal reading, but the thing is, I never, even as a child, learned to actually read out loud. I always read, silently. So it's actually, learning how to read like out loud in a foreign language. It's actually quite difficult. Yeah, but there's quite a lot of voice acting, and well, I will get better at it. So don't you worry. And well, we'll continue with an actual gameplay in the next episode. Please, if you like the thing so far, please leave a like, since this is the first episode, and will allow some other people perhaps interested in this game rather than strategies to find the channel. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.